everybody, welcome back. Today is lesson 2 in our lesson sequence all about Roman numerals. So I'd like you to pause the video for me and write your date and learning objective beautifully and neatly, just like in school, and then we'll get cracking. Okay, so before we get started, we are going to do a brain warm-up, and today I'm thinking of a number and I'm going to give you some clues and I would like you to guess what my number is using those clues. Are you ready? My first clue is it is a multiple of 16. That means it's in the 16 times table. It is less than a quarter of 400. It is more than 3 lots of 8. It is not 4 times 12. It is 8 squared. So if you want to pause here and catch up, then please do. In a moment, I am going to reveal the answer and I am going to tell you how I got to the answer. Okay, so the answer I was looking for, the number I am thinking of is 64. And here's how I got to that number. So it is a multiple of 16. That means it's in our 16 times table. Now, we don't learn our 16 times table in school, but you can figure it out really easily using repeated addition. So you would start with 16, then it would be 32 and 48 and 64, okay? So you would keep going all the way through. Less than a quarter of 400. Well, a quarter of a number is when we chop it or share it equally into 4 pieces. And if we share the number 400 into 4 pieces, each piece is 100. So our number is less than 100. It is more than 3 lots of 8. So I can use my times tables there. 8, 16, 24. So 3 lots of 8 is 24. So it's more than 24, but less than 100. It is not 4 times 12. And I know that 4 times 12 is, well, I use my 12 times table or my 4 times table. So 12, 24, 36, 48. It is not 48. 48 is not the answer. It is 8 squared, and we know that when you square a number, you times it by itself. And 8 times 8 is 64. So that is how I got to the answer. Well done if you got that. Let's move on to the lesson. So today we are going to be looking at Roman numerals again and taking it up a notch and making it a little bit trickier. So before we do that, I just want to remind you about our rhyme, our mnemonic, and it helps us, this mnemonic, to remember the order that the letters come in. When we're thinking about Roman numerals, they used to write capital letters to represent numbers, and we need to remember the order that those letters come in. So it's I'm very excited. Let's count during maths. So the letters you are interested in are highlighted in red. I, V, X, L, C, D, M. Okay? And I'm going to leave our knowledge organiser down the side of the page for all of the questions today. So what I'd like you to try and do is to try and figure out the answers before I tell you. So what we're going to do is we're going to do some guided practice. I'm going to help you. And then I'm going to show you some questions that I would like you to have a go at on your own. So you're going to do some guided practice and some independent practice. And don't forget our red rule down here. So we've got our rhyme and we've got our red rule. And our red rule says that you can only have 3 identical symbols or letters in a row. You can't have more. So let's get started. See if you can remember any of these. The number 1 is in our knowledge organiser already, and it is I. And the number 2 is I. Well done. The number 3 is I. Now, we've already got 3. So what do? We can't add another I on. Can you remember? It is IV because it is 1 before 5. Remember, the V is the 5 and the I is the 1. And the 1 comes before the 5. So we are 1 number before 5. And as you know from counting, 4 is 1 number before 5. Okay, so 5 on its own, just 5. Already in our knowledge organiser, it is V. Well done. 6. Great job. It is VI because we are 1 number after 5. 6 is 5 plus 1 and 6 is 1 number after 5. So we've got our 5 here, our V, and our I is 1 number after 5. And 7, VII, because we have 2. We are 2 after 5. So 5 add 2 is 7, and so we represent that in our Roman numeral. Number 8. VIII, because we are 3 after 5. 5 add 3 is 8, and so we have our 5 here represented by the V, and then we add on 3 more after. 9. That's quite a tricky one because we haven't got any more space for more I's. We can't add another I because we would break our rule of 3. So I'll give you a clue. Well, I'll give you 2 clues. The answer is not VIII. Okay, and for your answer, you will need to use an X somewhere in your answer. What do you think it could be? The answer is IX, because X represents 10 and our I represents 1, and we are 1 number before 10, or 1 less than 10. So our 10, well, that's easy. It's on our knowledge organiser already, so I know that that is just X on its own. Let's do some trickier ones. Okay, so we're going to do the numbers all the way up to 20. And I know that X is 10, and 11 is 1 more than 10. So 11 must be XI. Have a guess. See if you can do 12, 13. See if you can do the next 2. Remember that pattern of adding 1 each time. Are you ready? 12 is XII because we are 2 after 10, or 10 add 2. And 13 is XIII because, pardon me, we are 3 numbers after 10. We are 3 more, okay, after 10. Now 14, that's one of those tricky ones. So I'll give you a clue. I'll give you 2 clues. The answer is not XIII because that would break our rule of 3. And I will give you another clue. You are going to need an X, and you are going to need an I, and you are going to need a V. Which order do those symbols come in? See if you can figure it out. Okay, the answer is XIV because our 10 is represented by the X. And as we know from before, IV is 4 because we are 1 before 5. Okay, 15. It is XV because it is 10 and 5. It is 5 after 10. It is 5 more than 10. 16, add 1 more, XVI. 17, add 1 more, XVII. 18, add 1 more, it's XVIII. 19, this is a tricky one. I'll give you some clues. The answer is not XVIII. You will need to use another X. See if you can figure it out. Are you ready? The answer is IXX because the XX, as you can see here, represents 20. It is 2 lots of 10. and that makes 20. But we are one number before 20 at 19, aren't we? So we put our 1 before our 20. Okay, so there's our practice. We're going to do a few more questions. And today you are going to have 3 different levels of question to choose from. And you are going to be completing some calculations with a twist. Because every answer you write today, you are not going to write your answer in these sorts of numbers, in our digits like we would use in school. You are going to write all of your answers in Roman numerals. Okay, so here's how I would do it. So firstly, I would figure out the answer in normal numbers, in digits. So I would look at my calculation. 3 add 2 is 5. And then I would take my answer and I would translate it into Roman numerals. So my answer is 5, and I'm going to use my knowledge organizer to help me. The answer you give should be V. Okay, and if you want to write your answer in brackets in digits as well, that's absolutely fine. 4 add 8. So figure out the answer. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I need to write the number 12 in Roman numerals. Okay, and again, you can use your knowledge organizer to help you. XII, which is 12. Okay, 4 times 2 is 8. And so your Roman numeral should have been VIII, which is 5 add 3, or 3 after 5, which is 8. And the last one, 7 times 4. Well, I'm going to use my tabling up. 7, 14, 21, 28. So it's 28, and I need to write the number 28 in Roman numerals. This is a really tricky one, okay? So, are you ready? Okay, so I knew my answer was 28. So I did my 2 x's, that's my 20. And then I did my 8, my 5 here, and 3 more. So well done if you managed to get that one. That one was really, really tricky. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to I'm going to show you 3 different levels of question. Now, green pepper is kind of what I would be hoping that most of you could have a go at today. If you are having a go at the red pepper or the chili pepper questions, then you are just amazing. Okay, so don't feel like you have to go for the really, really tricky questions today. These are all year 4 level questions. Okay, if you're going for the chili pepper, whew, that's amazing. So I don't want you to go for maybe say chili pepper and think, oh, I can't do it. I want you to be able to complete some of the questions. Okay, so yes, be ambitious, but don't be so ambitious that it makes you all confused. Okay, I want you to be successful. So our first set of questions, I'm going to show you green, red, and chili. And then afterwards, I'm going to show you the answers. So when you see the questions you want to complete, pause the video and get cracking. Okay? Green pepper questions. Red pepper questions. And today, it is not just chili pepper, it is Scotch bonnet pepper, which is super, super spicy and tricky. So, I'm going to make this a little bit smaller so you can see it. Make it a bit smaller for you. Okay, and the answers. Are you ready? Green pepper answers. Red pepper answers. And Scotch bonnet chili answers. Are you ready? Okay, so that is the end of today's lesson. Please mark your own work. I can't wait to see pictures of it. Have a wonderful day and make good choices.